Hey YouTube, Magnum Prime here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Fans Toys Dunerunner, their masterpiece take on Beachcomber. If you're new to our channel, hello and welcome. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Okay, here we go. So in terms of accessories, we get quite a few actually for a Fans Toys figure. I don't know, maybe they're feeling guilty about the recent surge in price and cost of third-party masterpiece figures. Probably not, but anyway, you get quite a decent haul. So in terms of the blaster, it's very G1 tune. It's grey, it's not painted, it's just plastic, but it looks good. It's got a few molded detail pieces on there. Looks all right actually. And this will hold in a very sturdy way, in the very sturdy grip of the sturdy hand. Good stuff. For faces, we get a smug look that he ships with, a really joyous looking face, a very serious looking face, and then a science fiction-y thing going on with his visor, no doubt representing something in an episode somewhere along the way, or just a really cool pair of sunglasses, whichever one you choose. You get this silver panel piece which you can clip onto the front of the alt mode, and it will allow you to recreate the toon look and put on an Autobot logo. And you also get these which will recreate that look, albeit in bot form. They just clip on the front of the legs there. They go on very smugly. Smugly. He does look smug, doesn't he? Very smooth. I think that's a really nice touch actually, really good. Final score on accessories? Flawless. 10 out of 10. Okay, starting with the head, it's on a ball and we'll get a little bit up and a little bit down. It's got swivel all the way around. The shoulders are on a soft tension joint which will get you full rotation. You can get a little bit more than 90 degrees out the side. The tyres do block it a little bit. For the elbows, they're on a single 90 degree and you have a bicep swivel. The hands are pretty much identical to Sheridan's actually. This kind of single fused claw-like lump, and there is a little bit of wrist rotation there as well. Down at the hips, you've got an extremely tight waist rotation. At first, I thought there wasn't one. It was so tight, but with a little bit of pressure, you can get it. It's really clunked in there, though. In terms of ab crunch, there isn't an official one, but you can untab the backpack and make use of the transformation joint here in the middle to kind of bend it. You do break the sculpt with this little thing here, and it's very annoying to line back up that. In terms of hip skirts, you've got the single at the front, single at the back, and then individual at the sides. For the legs, these are very tight as well. It took me a few goes to loosen these up, but you get a full extension out to the front and a full extension out to the back. Despite that clicking, it's not actually a ratchet. It just sounds like one because it's so tight and squeaky. You get a full out to the side as well. The knees are on a double hinge, one up here and one here, and will get you a little bit past 90 degrees. Down at the feet, you've got a really good ankle rocker, and you've got a kind of forward tilt as well. So pretty good down there, actually. So all in all, it's very good posability wise. It's just some of the joints are frustrating to use, and also it doesn't have a proper ab crunch. So it's good, but it's not great. 7 out of 10. So I am aware that you shouldn't really give scale a score out of 10 because it's so subjective and the reference points are so flimsy, aren't they? However, I think Fans Toys actually for them are pretty much on the money with this one. If you look at the Sunbow chart, Beachcomber kind of comes a little bit above the blue part on Optimus's knees, and you can see he's a bit taller than that. However, this just works for me. It looks right and it looks good. So I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. So if we start with the paint, it is, as you'd expect, beautifully applied and it's immaculate. Actually, having said that, I do have a paint chip on mine. Right out of the box, that was just there, but we'll park that for the second. There is something about the texture of this, though, which is different, I think, to recent Fans Toys releases. It's got a kind of matte roughness to it, and I don't mean it's kind of flaky or anything like that. It's very high grade stuff, really well polished and applied, but it's not the smooth shiny finish that we've had from recent releases, certainly, and that plays through into some of the thickness in places. So these tabs down here in transformation, they feel a little bit clunky when you putting them in. Some of it is squeakiness and tightness of joints, but some of it actually feels like the thickness of the paint in places. I don't know, it's a difficult one to judge, but it's definitely a different texture to other releases, certainly. Colours wise, it's interesting. So in hand, it's a lot lighter than it looks on the screen. This appears very dark blue. However, in hand, it is actually the light blue or royal blue that you'd expect for Beachcomber. And if we just bring in the G1 tune here, you can see, just acknowledging that colour difference that I've referenced, he is pretty much a perfect representation of G1 Beachcomber. Yes, there's a couple of little differences, so the kind of proportions of the ties are slightly different. I can forgive that, certainly. I think the helmet piece and the size of the silver visors, you might criticize that, but look, overall, in terms of an action figure that transforms, this is, for me, I think it's top-notch stuff. Really, really does well. Cleanup-wise, he's super clean from the front, super clean from the side, and he's super clean from the back. I mean, look at what this thing tucks away perfectly. All of the Jeep kind of stuff, Beachcomber stuff is tucked into here. It's brilliant. Really, really well done. Few greebly bits down here, but you just don't notice them because the kind of colours work in such a uniform way. You know, the eye isn't drawn to that at all. Materials wise, here's what you'd expect. It's fans toys, super hefty, lots of die cast, really quality stuff. But I've got a criticism here. It's almost like overkill. Everything is super tight. This waist joint down here, even the arms that are on tension joints, they're just really, really tight. There's kind of like bits in here for the transformation where you have to pull things out and you feel like you're going to break it. Oh, it's overkill. It makes it feel like a fragile piece when it isn't, because it's made of such quality stuff. So overall, the quality is superb, but there are a few frustrations with it. So 9 out of 10. So the transformation on this is relatively easy for a fans toys figure. So that's a positive point. I think it's well designed, it's intuitive, and it's well thought through. However, it's not fun, and that's not because of the transformation per se. I think it's to do with the materials and some of the tolerances. So you've got a lot of places where this is either the paint or it's the tolerance, but you have to really scrunch and crunch and squeeze things in. So some of these panels down here on the legs, the way that the arms tab in at the sides, you can see this here, this section needs to, it even points out in the instructions actually, you need to press down hard to get these tabs into the side here, but it just won't go, and I don't want to force this anymore because on mine you can see the more pressure you put, it just kind of splays these outwards, and there's no way to squeeze these in. There just isn't the kind of clearance for them to get in there. So I think that's a real flaw. There are kind of flaws across the transformation design, to be honest, on this figure. It could have been good. It's intuitive enough. It's relatively kind of easy enough and well designed, but the execution is poor, frankly. So 6 out of 10. So in terms of alt mode, I think this thing looks absolutely incredible. And I'm going to excuse some of the little cleanup things that are just hang-ups of transformation, you know, things not tabbing in and stuff. Because overall, it just replicates G1 Beachcomber to a T. It rolls beautifully, and I was surprised actually, because when I was transforming this, I thought this was going to kind of rub on the floor, but it just doesn't. It rolls immaculately. You've got really nice detail, like the shock absorbers, these kind of bits at the front, translucent headlights there, the nice chrome work of the roll bars. You've got a dashboard with a steering wheel and a gear stick. I mean, how brilliant is that? Seats, bits at the back. It just is G1 Beachcomber, and there's like not really any visible bot at all. You'd be hard pushed to kind of find things that are obvious in terms of cleanup and hang-ups. It is a cracker. It really is. I mean, the colours, as I've pointed out in the kind of bot mode section, this it looks a lot deeper blue on the screen than it does in real life. If we just bring in the G1 Toon version, you can kind of see, I mean, there's a little bit of inversion between, you know, the silver on here versus the grey seats in the G1 Toon, and then the Toon has the white for the bars, whereas this has the silver. But apart from that, it's kind of minimal. And then, you know, if you add in this little piece that they've included, just kind of clips on the front there. If it goes in, it needs to squeeze in a little bit. I mean, there you go, perfect. Stick a little Autobot logo on there, you're good to go. Really good alt mode, 9 out of 10. So there we have it. Adding it all together, he gets a final score of 8.3 out of 10. And look, this thing looks fantastic. It looks absolutely incredible in both bot mode and alt mode. It's got really good quality, good heft, and it's built of solid things. However, that quality, there is a little bit of overkill in this figure because the paint is a bit too thickly applied and the joints are too tight and squeaky. And that flows through into the transformation because there is a well-designed process there, but it's just not fun because of those things. You've got too many instances where you kind of like frightened to do stuff because you think it might crunch something or break something, and that's not really good for a transformer. It's good if you want a statue. If you want a statue of Beachcomber, this is it. It looks fantastic. It's got a few posability issues, but it's quite a small character, so that might not be too much of an issue. Overall, it just looks great. That's what this is. And if you want something on that basis, then this figure's for you. However, if you want something that's fun to transform and flip backwards between modes, then you might want to give this one a rethink. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching. Take care. Please subscribe, and bye for now.